I'm about as far from religious as they come, and yet even I can appreciate when an extremely influential religious leader does the right thing and says the right thing, if that could potentially lead some of their many followers to do and think the right thing as well, to actually follow what seems like objectively moral positions as opposed to simply the things written in their books. And so today I'm going to give credit to the Pope for saying the following statements at the Sixth World Congress against the death penalty. So Pope Francis said, "No matter how serious the crime, to kill a convicted person is an offense to the inviolability of life and to the dignity of the human person, as well as a contradiction of God's plan and his merciful justice." I would have left off some portions of that. But overall, I agree with the statement. It does not render, oh, this is my favorite part. It does not render justice to victims, but instead fosters vengeance. The commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," has absolute value and applies both to the innocent and to the guilty. Now, I think in some cases, he would include certain activities of behavior in the killing that I would not. But in the case of the death penalty, I think that Pope Francis there, as on so many subjects, makes a lot of sense and appears to be using what seems to me to be the sort of normal level of empathy and natural moral thinking, concern for the well-being of others, principles of fair play and fairness, and he's using those in ways that a lot of religious leaders and popes throughout history have not. And so, like I said, I love it all, but my favorite part is it does not render justice to victims, but instead fosters vengeance. I don't need to make that case, because if you ask people who are pro-death penalty, they will make that case for me. You talk to them, and they will very often say, "How would you feel if someone you knew had been killed? Wouldn't you want the killer to die as well?" Yeah, I might have primal, savage, barbarian instincts, but I don't think that the law should always be based on primal, savage, barbarian instincts. You appealing to some, unfortunately, all too common tendency to shut down the thinking and logical part of the brain, to instead succumb to, like, before, even pre-Bronze Age ideas of morality, that's not a good thing. That is saying that you don't have the actual willpower, the evolved sense of thinking that allows you to look past those things and to understand that it doesn't serve as a deterrent to kill criminals, it doesn't make us any safer, and it almost certainly condemns innocent people to death every year, while also ceding to the government the authority and the moral certainty that they can and should be deciding who dies. I don't want to do any part of that. And Pope Francis, who on a number of topics, although not all, has done and said amazing things during his limited thus far time as Pope, is right once again. The death penalty needs to go. It's one of the core moral objections I have to Hillary Clinton, since she still believes that there are cases regarding terrorism where it should be legal. I personally don't think that the individual crime has anything to do with the morality of the government choosing to kill people. Politicians need to move on from this position. It's one in which, unfortunately, the American population hasn't changed nearly enough over the past few decades, but perhaps with people like Pope Francis leading the way, as well as hopefully some brave U.S. politicians, we can make some progress on this.